Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for tuning in to the Boxing Authorities. Joining me at the desk, as always, Mr. Luther Dupree Jr., Mr. Smoking Jim Frazier, and my name is Claudio Relsano. All right, junior lightweight 130 unification fight between Michaela Myer. We're going to start off with the women's, ladies' boxing card. 17-0, 5 knockouts. And I know Jim's going to like the picture. She's a WBO and ring IBF and ring champion against Alicia Baumgardner, 11-1, 7 KOs, WBC champion. Late summer, early fall. I like where the women's fighting is going. I believe Serrano and Taylor, 1.45 million in ticket sales. Mm-hmm. Number one, real quick, Luth, do you think that this is going to match that, eclipse it, and your thoughts on this fight?
Well, no, it won't match it right now, but, you know, both of these women, beautiful inside and outside the ring. I'd watch them box. I'd watch them, model. I'd watch both of them. I think it's going to be a great fight. Both of them very skilled, very powerful. I think it could be a great fight. I think Baumgardner has a little more power, but they're both very flexible. There's Baumgardner there.
I was waiting for that.
I don't know if the weigh-in or the boxing match will be more. I'll be more interested in, but it should be a great fight. Both of them at the top of their game, and I'm glad they're coming together. It won't have the excitement of Serrano Taylor, but it'll be right up there.
During fight or before?
Well,
I'm sorry. Yeah, before the fight or
the weigh-in will be much better. The weigh-in, I think, will attract a lot more views, but the fight, I don't think it'll have as much hype, just because Serrano's been doing it. How about the fight itself? I think it's going to be very impressive.
That was a hell of a fight.
That was a hell of a fight. I don't think these two will be going so much toe-to-toe. I think both of them are more athletic, so they'll be moving around. It'll be more of a classic boxing match than toe-to-toe. But I love it. I think it's going to be an excellent fight. And I don't know who to pick. I'm weighing right now, man.
We still have some time. It is because Baumgardner can hit. She hit, what was the girl's name?
Terry Harper.
Yeah, she
knocked her
into
another planet.
That delay, so she can hit. And we don't really know what kind of chin Myer has, but she's got that chin.
She has the long jab.
Long jab.
And
they're both skilled.
Right. We don't know who has a better chin.
Both of these girls, they're not like just going in there and throw it.
Classic boxers.
Yeah.
They've trained.
Your thoughts?
Well, I really don't care who wins as long as Myer don't hurt my baby. But it should be a good fight. Listen, Mayer's 5'9", and she got a heck of a left hook.
Yeah, she does.
She goes to the body. She got an educated left hook. And, Baumgardner can do it all. And she's could be the face of women boxing. So it could be a great fight. As long as we keep everything away from Clarissa Shields. I think women boxing.
There you go, Jim.
You knew that was coming.
You're slandering a two-time
I love her.
Olympic champion.
She's one of my all-time favorite fighters.
She's the only one in the sport that's undisputed.
That can't move the dial.
Listen, undisputed in 2 different weight divisions.
Yeah.
Currently.
And nobody knows that.
Could go to a third. She could become a third undisputed.
And that and 50 Cent and get you a cup of coffee.
Luther, one thing that you always talk about, because you look into it, are the trainers. How happy are you with Serrano Taylor's trainers and the trainers of these two?
I think we're seeing the evolution. I mean, you see the skill level. I think both of their training is going well. You see the skill level. Both Michaela and Baumgardner, highly skilled boxers. They're not just going in, firing. You see movement. You see the jab. You see the body work. I'm very impressed with their training.
Women never fight like that. What are you talking about, chauvinists? Women never fight like that.
No. Early on, it was a slugfest.
1920.
He's saying they look tight.
Right.
If you know what I'm saying.
That,
I don't mean tight like nervous.
Done it for
I'm talking
years.
about they throw, right.
What you would see one person who was skilled and some lady who looked like she just started boxing last week. And getting knocked out.
I disagree.
No, you disagree, but film says otherwise.
I know what you're saying.
Film says I'm right. You would see.
Film?
Yes, it's film. Film, video, digital, go watch some. You would see one girl like a Christy Martin who was in there, and she was in there with like somebody you thought like, why is she fighting her? She's going to get hurt.
You're going to get yourself in trouble during Pride Weekend.
Pride Weekend? I'll let you stick to you can handle all the Pride Weekend you want, Jim.
Now, again, Jim, Luther has been very critical, as I have been, with trainers. They're more worried about the rope, which I know he hates.
I hate
that. Years ago, what they do? They ran, they sparred,
road
jump
work,
rope, not pulling the damn rope. Do you think, and we got this on one of our questions in the mailbag several episodes ago.
remember that.
Do you like that they're emphasizing more the training, or like Luther keeps saying, the skills? For me, I like, let's hit, don't admire your punches, move your feet, shuffle, do things. I'm into the skill. Yes, you have to be in shape, but I think sometimes they get too damn cute with the training. What do you think?
Well, all the women that I've ever trained, I always tell them when they hit the heavy bag, always start
What
with
women
the
you
jab.
train, Jim?
Always start with the jab.
He ain't answering you.
Throw your combinations, get yourself set, and then start with the jab.
You look like you'll
again.
get somebody knocked out with that training you just did.
You see him leave himself open?
Leave yourself right.
Always
Everybody, come on,
always
Jim.
come back with the jab.
Yeah, they always came back KO'd with that.
Well, I think it's going to be an exciting fight. I think once it's signed for sure,
Yeah,
I think
we
we'll get a
can-
lot of build
yeah.
up. Again, good people inside and out, beautiful women, and that's going
Where's
to
it gonna be?
I don't think they've
No,
announced
it's
it,
just-
but it'll be
we're
here in the
just talking about
States.
it, yeah.
It'll be here in the States, I guess. And I would love to have it at Madison Square Garden again. Because
Well-
that gives it a little bit more
Well, I think the other place is better.
Barclays.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah, but Barclays is coming. I'm not saying this. It's just like, but when you say Madison Square Garden,
Just the history of it.
Yeah, why don't we just say Civic Arena?
well,
there's no- come on,
did you
Jim.
don't you think though that Taylor Serrano having it at Madison Square Garden kind
Yeah,
of
they did. It elevated it, Jim.
Yeah.
Well,
They packed it out.
It'd have been the same thing at the Barclay, even better.
But it just sounds. Hey,
It sounds
the first
better.
women's
Right.
boxing match packed out Madison Square Garden.
And somebody that we mentioned on the show,
The
often-
evolution of women in your is what you call it.
I'm talking about their skill
Like there
level.
wasn't
They
no
packed
Layla
out.
Ali.
Yeah. Well, you know one thing.
Yes, on one side, but now you have two
Christy
skilled
Martin.
women. Yes, and they would fight somebody they were clearly out. You know, they was clearly
Now there's
Yes,
more
yes,
talented.
Yes,
There's more talented.
There's more
fighters.
talented now. Yes,
There's more
they were
talented
great
fighters,
fighters.
right.
Layla
No,
Ali,
there's
Christy
less.
Martin.
There's less.
Now?
Jim?
Yes.
All right, Jim,
It's
that's the
just
dumbest
starting to
statement
come
you said
now.
today.
They're
Come on.
starting
My
to
point
come,
is-
but they haven't caught up that era. That
But
era
there was only
great.
Christy Martin back then.
Christy
Oh, there
Martin,
was who
and
was
then
she
Layla
fighting?
Ali.
She was fighting some great fighters.
Who?
Layla Ali.
Who?
She fought
Name 'em.
Joe Frazier's daughter.
Well, you know why? Because of the name.
Yes, but she
But
wasn't
now there's a
highly
bunch of
skilled
different
like
fighters.
Christy
There was
Martin.
that woman that was training men that was knocking people out.
Jim, the point is you can't.
But you don't know her
them.
name?
Exactly.
No, I don't
because
know
he's
nobody.
wrong.
I don't know nobody's name till right
Jim,
now.
usually
I
we
ain't know
make it up.
I didn't know Mayer's
I'm proud of
name
you
till
because you didn't make it up this time, Jim. I'm proud of you.
But now there's
But
more
now
of a
there's
pool.
names. You got Amanda Serrano, Katie Taylor, Clarissa Shields,
Thanks to
Amanda
social
Baumgardner.
media.
Well, whatever, but they're out there.
They're out
and
there
the
training.
woman's,
Michaela Myer,
in my
yeah.
opinion, the women's game is probably at its peak. But you mentioned Madison Square Garden.
And in
Bruno,
my opinion, it's not.
Bruno Sammartino, we talk about him often all the time. He said he fought all over the world,
Right.
but no place got the ears open more and the respect and the attention than Madison Square Garden.
And that's
Serrano
why
and
that fight
Taylor.
was so big to beat here.
Yes,
you're right.
They weren't gonna say it's gonna be what's that place? The
Barclays.
Raiders.
Legion Stadium.
Legion, nobody cares. Or even the beautiful place you were at in Los Angeles. Nobody cares.
Oh, so fast.
Where would the
Stadium, yeah.
Penguins rather play? Civic Arena or
For me,
over-
the Civic Arena. I love the Civic Arena.
See, yeah.
But there is a place like Three River Stadium. For me,
But
I love
see,
Three River Stadium.
The new arena's got all the lights
Yeah.
and whistles and.
But Madison Square
scoreboards
Garden
and
has the name.
Name.
I went
It
to the
has
Boxing
legend.
Hall of
It has
Fame.
the history behind
I
it,
don't
Jim.
care
That
about
means
that. I
something.
don't
Oh, yes, you do.
I
That
want
means
something
something.
new.
You're
I
the
want
one who
something
always
new.
talks about legends and history
Yeah,
and all
but-
that.
I
when
went
it
to the
comes
Boxing
to
Hall
arena.
of Fame in Canastota, and they have a list of all the championship fights in Madison Square Garden, and it's just mind-boggling.
Oh, it's
Nobody
great.
will catch
No.
it has that mystique.
At one
is
time,
the word I'm looking for.
At one time, I mean, Forbes Field was great at one
But
time.
how
for
come they still
boxing.
made a big deal when Serrano Taylor fought Madison Square Garden?
Well, they just made the same big deal if they had fought in Barclays.
But they wouldn't have said
They wouldn't
Barclays.
have-
They
would've
just said
said
they're fighting at
Barclays.
Barclays and left it
They
at
would have
that.
said in Brooklyn,
And
in
Right,
New York.
right.
And the
No,
fighters would have loved
Madison
it
Square
more.
Garden.
Yeah, that's
No,
so
they
big
loved
time.
it at Madison Square Garden. Everybody there loved the environment, Jim.
And they didn't
You're
love it.
completely wrong again. Another
They
X.
wouldn't have loved it at the place, the Barclays.
Oh, they'd have loved it, but they wouldn't have
Jim,
said Barclays
the
all that much.
history.
Historic.
Jim, the history, the
Why don't they just fight at
legendary.
Lambeau Field?
Well, that has history.
Yeah,
behind
but who
it.
would want that?
Not in the
It's
boxing,
that
but I'm talking about
boxing.
football.
Madison Square Garden has the history with it. great legendary events have been there, and this is the first time women packed it out like that.
The time has passed on
No,
Madison Square Garden.
apparently you're wrong.
No, it's not. It was just
apparently
last
you're
month.
wrong. Last month they
Yeah.
packed it out. It was a great event. You're
Because
wrong
you know
again.
how many Puerto Ricans is in New York? They don't win anywhere, Lou.
Another fight that's coming up. That again, I'll say it again because Luther and I have been asked this question, and he thinks that we're leaning towards him when it comes to this being a great era of heavyweight. No, we're interested in these fights. It's got some nice names, but we don't think that they're going to be Hall of Famers. But I am interested, and I'm curious to see what your thoughts are. I don't think there's going to be much of a fight, but Huey. I was almost said, what the hell is that guy? Huey Lewis. Huey Lewis in the news. Huey Fury, who is 26, 3-15 knockouts against Michael the Bounty Hunter, is 20, wins one.
Are we sure this is the right Michael Hunter?
Yeah,
time?
I know.
All right,
He's
all right.
his son, his
Huey
grandson.
Fury.
Anyway, so that's for the WBA World Title Eliminator, which Trevor Bryant has. I believe that's the fight that would fight
Until
next.
Daniel Dubois takes it from him, what I'm predicting.
Yeah, but they're interesting fight. I'm okay with
It's an
this.
interesting fight, you know. Two guys, Huey Fury. We know about the Furies. Hopefully, he can pass the test, and the fight does happen. Michael the Bounty Hunter, a blown-up cruiserweight, but he's done some things at a heavyweight. You know, should be a good fight. Michael Hunter looked terrible in his last fight. I was really disappointed. He has to step it up. He's in there with a Fury, so he knows it's going to be a dirty fight.
And
He
more
may come in
eyes are gonna be
dirty,
on him.
and there's going to be a lot of eyes on it. So it should be a good fight. I do give Michael Hunter a slight advantage over Huey Fury. Fury, you never know what kind of shape he's going to come in. You never know what kind of things are going to be in his system. I'm going to go with Michael the Bounty Hunter in a decision on this one, I think.
He's drawn again, Lou.
Here's a no for the tic-tac-toe on your paper. Put it in there.
I'm sorry, you said Hunter in what? Decision, knockout?
I said
Sorry.
a decision. I think it's going to be a
Really?
decision.
Okay.
Michael Hunter over Fury.
Yeah, they're not big. I'm with you. I'm exactly with you. I think it's going to be. It'll be. I'm interested in it. Not that I think these guys are elite. Wait a minute now. I don't think they're going to be elite, and they're going to be, carry boxing.
Heavyweight boxing.
It's a nice
I'm
fight.
gonna call
yeah.
you the microwave because you heating up, brother.
No, he's nowhere near saying it's the greatest era.
Interested.
No, it's an interesting.
And I would
a lot-
like to see the winner of this fight Trevor Bryant, Daniel Dubois, who I'm leaning towards Dubois as well. I'm interested in it. And I'd like to watch it. It's like I'm going to be like, oh my God, I hope he wins. And he's going to be on the greatest. He's going to make the Hall of Fame, or we're going to see him in Canastota. It's just a nice, interesting fight.
Interesting fight. Right.
Well, I tell you what, Fury's been getting better and better. He's 6'6",
Yeah, he's a
and
big
he's
boy.
really coming on.
Warming
I
up.
tell you what, he's looking like championship material.
Oh, wait. Championship material here, championship material, or the
who'd he
regular
beat-
belts
So
and all
who'd he
that?
beat to make you look? Who'd he beat?
It's not a matter of who he beat.
Oh, he beat a bunch of D-level guys.
You know, I don't watch what people do. I watch how they do it. And I've been liking the way he's
you
been
can do a
doing
lot
it.
of. You
Can I,
can do a lot
can I ask
against
you a
guys
question?
who aren't
Time out a
elite.
second.
Yeah.
I'm going to upset him. Is he in your book?
Yes.
Huey Fury's in your
Yeah,
book?
yo,
Throw
What
that
is he
thing
ranked?
away.
He was ranked in the top 20 in my book.
No, he was not,
Yeah,
Jim.
I'll show you in a minute.
Is he ahead of Bounty Hunter?
Oh yeah, Bounty Hunter.
Really?
Down there where he down there near
bottom.
USS Cunningham.
Cunningham's retired, man,
He's 30.
and he's a cruiserweight.
But I like Huey Fury to win pretty easily. I like the way this guy has been coming.
What's his
and
best
training.
punch, Jim?
Oh, he's showing you. He didn't tell you, Luther.
That overhead right.
That Roy Jones
That
thing,
looks like
Luke.
he's ready for an overhead
Yeah,
right.
he
With
does.
that
Look,
leg.
you see that?
Oh, nice, Jay.
I think it's an interesting fight.
Huey Fury, he's just living off his name.
Exactly, I was
He's not
gonna
that
say.
good. And he may,
Hunter does have to
and
improve, though,
I
from
just
his
hope he
last time.
comes in clean, and it's not another failed test.
Now there's talk about Joe Joyce fighting somebody who has been retired now for 20 years, according to him, Deontay Wilder.
The king
I
is
would
coming
like to,
back.
I'd like to see that fight.
Listen.
Again, another interesting fight. Joe
That's
Joyce
a great
is-
fight.
yeah.
That's a great fight. I'm much higher on Joe Joyce than you two guys. That's a tough fight. I'm not taking anybody against Wilder. You know, he's coming back with a vengeance. Joe Joyce, we've seen him hit. You know, he does have a great jab. But when you got something coming back, some nuclear weapons coming back, it's going to be tough. I'm glad you didn't stop me like Jim Gray stopped Tank Davis on that one. But, yeah, I got Wilder coming back. It should be a great fight, though.
Huey Fury.
Oh, 30, Jim, on to the next topic.
30.
And where'd you have Michael Bounty Hunter?
I can't even find him right now. Oh, here go 136.
Can I ask you a question? Yeah. Why do you have the different colors? So does one mean more than the
other?
other?
There's a lot of pink on that.
I like colors.
All right. Did you get rid of that X thing that you were busting his chops about? Okay.
Joe Joyce, 16.
That's way too low. That's
Where do you have
horrible
Wilder?
list.
Huh?
Do you have Wilder on your list?
Wilder is...
Forget Ring Magazine.
Yeah, Wilder's number 7 in slide.
So there's 6 better heavyweights than Deontay Wilder.
Yeah, in slide.
That's a horrible list.
I think
That list is
Joe
so
Joyce,
trash.
I'm inching up a little bit more, not as much as Luther. He can hit, okay? But
Juggernaut.
I just don't see. I mean, you could hit Wilder as proven. This is not an opinion. It's proven. You can blast Wilder. He can be knocked down. But some damn how he comes back and starts throwing haymakers himself. And again, I say all the time, Fury has the best recuperative chin I've ever seen ever. You can blast him, and somehow he comes back. And he does well. Wilder, he'll go down as well. But you got to give him credit, whether you like him or not, Jim. You got to give it. He not only came back and fought, he hit Fury as well.
Put him down.
I think that he is much. I don't think it's going to be. I think it's going to be kind of a dominant fight for Wilder if he fights Joyce. I think Joyce is going to try to go for the knockout. If they fight.
I think he's retired.
Oh, no, he said himself he's coming back.
Jim.
Well, he lied before. Come on.
When did he lie?
When did he lie?
When did he
When did he
no,
lie?
no, we're not going to do that. When did he lie, Jim? When did he lie?
You mean he never lied?
When did he lie?
He
When did he
never
lie?
lied?
When did he lie to the
You mean to
public?
tell me he
When
never
did he lie in
lied?
public? Huh? What? Give me a lie that he said.
I'm just saying, you mean
so
to
you
tell
don't
me
have
that-
one.
you
So
mean
you
to
don't
tell
have
me he
one.
never
So you
lied?
don't have one. So take
Are
that
you
back
telling
then.
me he never
I'm
lied?
telling you, I haven't heard him lie in public. You
Now,
said
you-
he gonna lie again.
Okay.
No, he didn't
He
lie.
lied to his first wife when he said he never divorced her.
What are you talking about, Jim? You just making up stuff. You don't know what he said.
All right, now you like Joe Joyce a lot.
Joe Joyce
Okay.
is a solid heavyweight.
So you think this is going to be a good fight?
Well, Joe Joyce is really slow. Those punches come, you can see it a mile away. And Deontay Wilder, when he's on, he's quick and powerful.
That's right.
That could be
Short
dangerous.
quick
That
when
could
he-
be
when he's
dangerous
on.
for Joe Joyce. So it all depends on how much rust is on there. Because if Wilder's back, I think Joe Joyce could take a punishment. We'll see how good that chin really is.
That's my question.
Because Daniel Dubois did hit him and rocked him a couple times. We also saw Joe Joyce get rocked by a couple other guys. I think Wilder stops him in at least 7-8 rounds. I just think the speed and power would be too much.
I'm exactly. I was saying 9 rounds. I think he catches Joe Joyce, and
But I don't think that fight happens.
he's hungry. You don't think it's going to happen?
No, because Wilder's with PBC, Joe Joyce is with
we
another
go.
organization.
There we go.
I think if Wilder comes back, it'll be the Andy Ruiz if he beats Luis Ortiz or Charles
Okay,
Martin.
let's say
Those are the
Ortiz
two
beats
that I
him.
think he fights.
Let's say Ortiz beats Ruiz. Will there be a Wilder
Trilogy?
Ruiz 3?
I don't think so. I don't think there'll be a trilogy.
What do you want to have happen?
I'd like to see Andy Ruiz versus Wilder. I would like
Would
to
you
see
say
it.
Ruiz Wilder or Joyce Wilder?
I'd rather see Joyce Wilder. I just don't think it'll happen because of the organizations and the rankings. It's not going to happen.
And
next,
your
I don't
thoughts
think.
on, although Wilder's people will fight anybody.
True.
So it's on the other end. Your thoughts on who would you rather have, Joyce Wilder, Ruiz Wilder?
I'd rather keep Wilder right where he is, retired. I
Oh,
don't think
Jim,
he'll ever
Jim,
fight
you're not a
again.
fan.
You don't think the
You're
division
a
needs-
hater.
I don't think he ever
You
fight
hate
again.
Wilder.
Okay, you don't think
Why
you will,
do you
but
hate Wilder is the question.
if he does, if he does.
Well,
Answer the
this
question,
ain't
Jim.
fantasy boxing.
Answer the
This
question,
ain't fantasy
Jim. He
boxing.
just said
I ain't
he was coming back
All right,
after
now
he
we-
got a statue.
Yeah, and pretty soon we'll be talking about if George Foreman come back and he still has
But he just
Jim.
fought in October.
who?
Wilder.
Wilder.
And he ain't signed the fight.
November,
since,
December,
so-
January, February, March, April, May. 7 months is starting to get a little bit long.
Yeah.
But that's okay. I mean, some guys, they
He's
wait
an
long.
older heavyweight.
When
He's
did Ruiz
only
fight
gonna fight.
last against
Right.
Ariola? When was that?
That was early last year sometime. So these guys
They don't
aren't
fight like they
fighting.
used to.
Well, Fury's
Heavyweights
fighting.
aren't fighting a whole lot anymore. You know that, Jim.
Nobody
Well,
is.
that's
Nobody
Spence,
is.
Crawford.
an excuse, but
No, it's a fact, Jim.
Well, who would you rather
The
see,
stats.
Joyce Wilder, Ruiz
Just
Wilder?
answer the question, Jim. Hostile witness right here.
What was the?
Oh, Jim.
Joyce or who?
CTE is setting
I
it
knew wait
bad.
for you
Write
to
it
say
down for
Joyce Wilder. And hell, he's got me confused.
Joyce
now.
Wilder,
Ruiz.
Wilder. Wilder.
I would like to see Ortiz and Joyce.
Speaking of that, Luther.
You went through a curveball.
Speaking of that, you and I are on the same page. We do not say this is the greatest heavyweight division of all time. No, not even close.
Not even
but
close.
would you like to see Ruiz Ortiz? I would.
Yeah.
There's a lot of.
Oh, Jill, we're not trying to see. Where's the trash can at? Throw that thing away.
39
Listen,
good
There's
fights.
a lot of nice.
There's a lot of
fights.
guys at the same level.
Yeah.
So
which
that makes
were
it interesting. That doesn't
Yeah.
make it the greatest.
No, exactly.
You know,
but
and
I'd
we don't
like to
really
see
know.
Ortiz.
We don't really know who's good and who's not because they're not mixing it up with each
Exactly.
other.
Are they going to fight
Neither
each
do you
other?
because they haven't fought each
Are
other.
they going to fight each other?
That's the big
Now,
question.
years ago, again, you had the Chavalos and Corys and those guys. They all
was
fought
tough.
each
They
other.
was
They were
tough.
tough. There wasn't, and those promoters were against each other too, but they saw
made it
money.
happen.
They made it happen. But again, this is not the greatest heavyweight division by far, but it's interesting. There's a lot of fights out there that I'd like to see.
Microwave.
But hopefully it happens. Hopefully it happens because it'll be good for boxing.
It will.
Very good for
That's
boxing.
true.
Now, talked about the statue. What an honor that is to have.
He deserves it.
Boxing-wise, I think the only statues that I know of, and I'd like to. In all honesty, I think they should
Look
put
at
one
that
up
statue. Oh,
of
my
Ray Boom Boom
goodness.
Mancini. in
Alabama
Youngstown.
Slammer.
You agree with that? They should have one of Boom Boom Mancini in Youngstown.
Jim, why didn't you go to that? Why
But
didn't you go
they
to the
put one of
statue
Larry
unveil?
Holmes in Easton, which is long overdue. I think they have one of Joe Frazier in Philly.
Do they?
Yeah,
finally. But
Finally,
after
but I
they
think he
did after the
passed.
Rocky.
I
Yeah.
think which is ridiculous. And Rocky Marciano finally, a couple years ago, they put one up in Brockton.
Really?
Finally,
It
yeah.
took that long?
It took a couple years ago, yeah. So now Deontay Wilder. Is there one of Muhammad in Louisville? I don't think so. There
I
should
don't think
be.
so. No, it may not
They
be.
threw the gold medal in the river now.
Well, he was upset. He had
Well, he had
was-
reason to be.
reason. But
Hey,
they should definitely build a statue.
I
of
just
him.
listen. He deserves it. You know what he's come back from. He had a sick daughter. There needs to be a movie made about what Wilder's done. You know, he started late. He started boxing because his daughter was sick. He needed to make some money quickly to help her get the treatment she needed. Stop delivering, and he would be delivering, the beer and be, working out. So he just came into the gym and started fighting. 19 years old, went to the Olympics, had no experience, was the only one to get the bronze medal. Fast forward 20 years later, statue. He ties Muhammad Ali's
way.
record for 10 title defenses. Just an amazing story. I can't wait for the movie.
Yeah.
He's just a great guy, and I can't wait for him to come back and start knocking more guys out with that nuclear bomb, Bronx Bomber.
He certainly can, and I don't think he's retired by any
No,
means.
he's not. He's
and
coming
there's
back.
more money to be made out there. There's more fights out there. There's a lot of interesting fights. I think him and Ruiz would be a lot of eyes would want to see that. Him and Joe Joyce, I think a lot of eyes would want to see that. Your thoughts on the statue?
Well, I
comes
gotta
the
give
hate.
him credit. They put the statue at a truck stop. I mean, come on, man.
That's not where
Listen,
it's
Magic
gonna be.
Johnson has his statue at the Staples Center. Vince Lombardi at Lambeau Field. Hank Aaron at Turner Field. Willie Mays at AT&T Park. Listen, they didn't put his statue at the University of Alabama. They didn't even put it at the junior college where he quit football, he quit basketball, and he quit his
Jim,
first wife.
stop with all
They put it at a truck stop. They
You're
wouldn't
a
even put
hater.
it at
You're
a
a
trailer
hater.
park.
That's not where it's
At
gonna
least
be.
put it at a trailer park. Come on. Hey, all they going is walking by there to go to the bathroom and get back on I-5.
That's where the most
95.
traffic is.
Yeah.
You
me
don't
ask you a
even know
question.
where it's going to be.
No,
Let me ask you a question.
And then I've never seen a life-size statue. I mean, make it bigger than life.
You're right,
He's
they're
taller
big.
than the statue.
Let me-
It don't even look like him.
It's
Now,
a younger
we know
version
you
of
don't.
him.
We know you're not a fan.
You're a hater.
One heavyweight right now who's current that you like. I got a
Pardon me?
reason. Give me a current heavyweight that you like.
Tyson Fury,
Okay.
the greatest of all time.
Okay.
Oh, Jim.
All right. And you like Anthony Joshua. What don't you like about Deontay Wilder?
Well, number one, they only talk about one kid, and he got like 8 kids.
Well, that's not him, though.
So-
They're talking about it.
Well, I'm
That's
just
simple.
saying. I'm just
You know
saying.
what I'm saying? He's not doing it.
This
Listen,
man
Jim, we
got
ain't
a
talking
lot
about all
of
your
outside.
kids.
He got a lot of outside children. He got a lot of outside.
Look at that hypocrite.
He got a lot of
Listen,
outside
he's,
children.
the point is he's taking care of his family,
Well,
Jim.
you know,
Well,
he got.
oh, nobody
the
come here and
guy-
talk about you and your kids and your grandkids and all.
The guy got a lot of. Plus, he
Everybody
got a
do a
lot of.
special
He
on
got a
you.
lot of quit in him. He got a lot of quit in him.
How did
How's
he
he
quit?
quit?
He quit.
Fury knocked him down a bunch of times. He kept him.
He quit football in
No,
junior
he
college.
didn't.
In the ring.
He quit
No, he
in
didn't.
basketball
In the ring.
in junior
He didn't
college.
quit.
In the ring.
He
He
married
didn't quit.
he married a woman that took him to the heavyweight championship of the world. He quit her.
How the hell did she take him to?
and then Samson got his hair cut by Delilah, and he ain't won a fight since.
But you got to admit, against
Jim,
your,
that's
and what I
terrible.
say again for the millionth time, when you guys before you left, I said they just separated
Separated
And
themselves.
you were wrong.
No,
there.
I wasn't. I don't think it's close. To be honest with you, I think there's a hell of a gap. Wilder. Always had respect for him, and I liked him especially at the beginning. But
It's about time you gave him
Claudia,
respect, just
more,
like
more,
old
more.
media.
Claudia, where's your pride? Listen, I'm never going to get a statue because I'm a critic. They're not going to erect a statue to a
At
critic.
the
don't deserve
casino.
it.
But you're
At
not
the
going to
casino.
put. You're not going to put in the
Wait,
visitors'
wait,
parking lot. No
wait,
doggone statue of me.
They
I'm gonna turn it
They
down.
retired your jersey in a strip club like they do James Harden in every city he's been.
They put that dollar bill
That's
up
it.
that he gives. They
Yeah,
put it on
that's
a
it.
frame.
The dollars.
Would you take that? Would you take a truck stop statue?
That's not where it's going to be. That was
It's-
just the unveiling.
Where they go? They gonna move it? They gonna dig it up? Like Jimmy Hoffa? They gonna dig it up? Come on,
Jim, if
dude.
you look at it, it was on a tarp. That's not. That was just where they were going to. They unveiled it. It's going to be moved somewhere else.
To where?
More than likely.
Where?
I don't know.
They can't put it outside of a stadium at 6'6". Nobody be able to see it.
Well, anyway, congratulations, well deserved to Deontay
The only one who's
Wilder.
ripping it is the haters
and when,
like Jim.
and when he comes back, which really isn't even a comeback, it's just his next fight.
His next fight.
Wasn't that
He took some
Alabama,
time
the water
off.
boy? Wasn't the water boy in Alabama? I like to see a statue
But I think the
of him.
division needs him. He's a name, obviously, future Hall of
we
Famer.
don't
He's
need him.
exciting.
We don't need him.
And I think it's good he's
Heavyweight
coming back.
boxing
Looking
is
forward to this
dead
getting
without
signed.
He made
Deontay Wilder.
he made two recent mistakes. One, by accepting a truck stop statue, and number two, not taking that step aside money. He'd have made a lot more than $8 million.
Now, if he'd have took that step aside money, you'd have got on him.
No.
So he's ducking
And
somebody.
and first
Am I
of all,
right
there
or
was
wrong?
no-
He-
you're making that up.
No.
There was no step aside money.
They offered.
Fury and Aaron
They
both admitted there was no step aside money. More fake news. Stop.
And he'd have ripped on
Stop
him. Would he
spreading
have
those
ripped on him
lies.
if he took it?
It was fake.
Would he
it
have
was
ripped on
fake,
him then?
just like all the stuff you
He'd have
said
ripped
about
on him.
Wilder.
Mark it down. You'd have ripped on him. If he had took the step aside money, you said he was ducking people.
There was no step
number
aside
one, there
money.
was no need for a third fight. They said
That
a
was one of the.
rematch.
That was a
They
great
said-
fight. That was a great fight.
There was no need for that.
Well,
What
we're going to
else,
get to
Jim? What are you
trilogies after our next segment, overrated, underrated, when we come back to the boxing authorities. Welcome back to the Boxing Authorities. A segment that we have now is getting very popular. We got a lot of emails on it, so thank you. Is overrated, underrated. All right, Luther, Artur Beterbiev. Overrated, underrated.
Very underrated. The guy's knocked out everybody who stepped into the ring. No, he's not the fastest, but everything he hits, he hurts. He looks like a caveman. He fights like a caveman in there. Very underrated. Give him respect. I look at all these pound for pound lists. Some of them don't have him on
He's
there,
on
like
ours.
Jim.
Oh, is he
Jim,
on
I
his?
didn't even see him on Jim's list. You have him on your list? No. He should be on there. They got guys weighing 120, 118 pounds on the list above this guy.
Right.
Underrated.
I'm with you. He's definitely in my. I forgot where I had him. He's like my top 6 pound for pound. He's a banger. He can take a punch. He's serious. He wants it, and I definitely think he's very underrated.
Extremely overrated.
Oh, gosh. Why, Jim?
Pardon me?
Why?
Number one, he's slow.
Put the accent.
But,
So he's okay.
Yeah,
Because he's slow.
overrated.
Joe Smith, his upcoming opponent. Oh, I thought you.
Joe Smith, I think he's about where he needs to be. I don't think he's overrated. He may be a little let me say, he may be a little overrated. He's a guy who gives it his all, but there's nothing special about him. He's just an average fighter, and some people have him ranked because he has a belt. But Beterbiev is going to put him back at his place. He'll go back down and being an average fighter. A
getting
lot of heart.
You're getting like Kelly Russell. There's a guy, Kelly Russell, who you will see on our show. We won't give it away where, but we agree on everything. I agree with Luther 1,000% on that. I think he's all right where he's at. Maybe a hair overrated. I think that better be able to expose him. He doesn't have like a big punch. He's not a stylistic boxer. He's tough, and he gives it his all. I'm not ripping on a guy by no means. But I think he's a little bit overrated. Smoking Jim.
Overrated.
All right.
Short and sweet.
Alexander Usyk. Underrated, overrated.
Very underrated. Years ago, I had him on my pound-for-pound list before Smoker Jim even knew who he was. Very underrated, undisputed. At cruiserweight, came up. He's a blown-up cruiserweight, and now he's dominating the heavyweight division. Just destroyed and embarrassed
big man.
Smoking Jim's favorite fighter, AJ, and he's going to do it again. Very underrated. He can do it all. Canelo's lucky that he didn't step in the ring with Usyk. Usyk would have destroyed him and humiliated him. Very underrated.
No, that was a good thing that they did not fight. He had hurt him.
I would've
Now,
loved
the
it.
one thing that I like about Usyk is that he moved up and he beat a big heavyweight. He didn't beat a guy who's blown up cruiserweight. He beat a guy who's much bigger and did a hell of a job. I think I don't like the comparison with him and Evander Holyfield. I don't like that. But I think he's underrated. I think he should be appreciated more. I did say Fury Wilder are 1 and 2. I still say that. And number 3, here's Wilder and Fury. I have Usyk right about here. Now, if he beats Anthony Joshua again, which I think he will. He's going to inch up towards those two guys, and he's going to have to beat one of those two guys for me to put him in the top 2, but I still say he's an underrated fighter. Jim.
Well, you ain't gonna like this. This guy's 10 times the fighter, Evander Holyfield. Vander had
You're not a boxing authority.
Evander had 10 losses and got knocked out by James Toney. So,
Jim,
but that was
that's
towards
the tail end of his
is
career.
This is a guy, unlike Evander, that had an Olympic gold medal. You guys kind of dogged him because he was a cruiserweight.
You did.
But
did
you
that.
guys love Evander because he had that great body.
No,
But,
because he fought.
He fought everybody.
Well, he wasn't as good as this guy.
Oh, I don't think it's close.
Did
in
James,
my
dominated
opinion.
Usyk.
well,
He
James Toney, could James
Oh,
Toney knock
okay,
him
let me ask you a
out?
question.
That's the
Baseball.
end of
Okay,
his
Muhammad
career.
Ali. Muhammad Ali.
Question.
Muhammad Ali.
Answer my question first.
Go
Could
ahead.
James Toney knock out Usyk?
He might. He was a hell of a James Toney was
At the end of
good.
his career, yes.
Would you
that'd
base
be no.
That was an
Muhammad
older
Ali?
version.
Would you base
That was
Muhammad
not prime
Ali's career?
Evander.
You might. I'll ask you. Would you base Muhammad Ali's career on his loss to Trevor Burbank? Hell
No,
no.
those
You-
are the end of his career.
Are
You,
you
gotta-
gonna-
you judge a guy on his prime. In his
What's
prime,
the guy
James
who
Toney
beat
wasn't going to
Evander
beat him.
a couple months ago? What the hell was his name?
Oh, I forget it. Yeah.
Not Bivol. Something like that. Whatever. You gonna base Evander's career on that?
Evander was knocking himself into. He was
In
throwing
his
punches.
day,
getting falling.
he
I
fought
loved Evander.
everybody.
No, you rip on him all
But
the
you're
time.
talking.
I'm just saying this guy better.
You're holding the end of his career against him. People judge people based upon their prime.
Yeah.
Prime Evander would not have gotten knocked out by James Toney. That was a guy.
Our
at the end.
next guy, and I want to
We
start
do know
this
that.
one.
But I do have to say, I'm disappointed in this guy.
Who?
You should fight for your country.
Oh,
Your
Jim.
country's getting ready to get wiped out, and this guy's worrying about boxing, and he ain't gonna have no family or friends to go back home to.
Jill, you would be the first one running if they put the draft back in. You wouldn't be fighting nothing.
I'll
The
be
next-
jumping out of
You
airplanes.
be in Canada.
Oh, I
He
can't.
would have been the first one in Canada. Man, we ain't
The
never
next-
seen nobody leave that.
I'm going to start this one because I always thought he was overrated. Ricky Hatton. Nice fighter, tough. When he fought in America, sold the place out, has a ton of fans. But I just always thought he was overrated. I mean, again, tough fighter, has some skills. Just thought that they blew him up and said, man, he's a top pound-for-pound guy. He brought the people here, and they made a big deal about it.
Yeah.
But again, in the ring, overrated.
Very overrated. Floyd dominated him and embarrassed him so bad. Very overrated. Yes, he had a great fan base, but skill-wise, very overrated.
Mr. Frazier.
Couldn't get a decent tag.
He couldn't what? Oh, Dan. Was he redheaded too? Yeah. Maybe that's what it is. Okay. Is that it?
Overrated. Yeah.
Okay. Arturo Thunder Gatti. Luther.
One of my favorite fighters. He had, some of the greatest trilogies. Man, he was an exciting fighter. Gave everything he had.
Wish he'd have
That
picked a
being
better wife.
Oh, gosh. That being said, I think he's very overrated. One of my favorites, but very overrated.
Okay. I can't go against a countryman. Okay, I gotta say he's underrated.
Ooh,
I gotta say he's
underrated.
He made things harder than they had to be in the ring. I think Floyd said it best. If you missed Arturo Gatti, it's because you wanted to miss him.
Yeah.
But the thing is, he had good boxing skills.
He didn't show
and
it
he
much.
started off at first. What's that?
He didn't show it much.
He'd start off boxing, and all of a sudden he
Turned into a punching bag.
and the fans loved it, and I think he loved hearing the fans. But. You know what? He's good where he's at. A lot of people give him respect, and they should.
Yeah, give him respect, but they put him in that Hall of Fame top level.
Is he in the
Overrated
Hall
to
of
me.
Fame?
He's in the Hall of Fame.
He's in the Hall of Fame.
And Vinny's not. But go ahead.
Extremely underrated.
Underrated.
Hey, look here.
Oh,
Claudio says it all the time, and I'm going to go fast on this. Claudio says it all the time, that you only have about 5 wars. The 3 wars he had with Mickey Ward, Gotti never won a fight after that. He was done. And Floyd knew it because Floyd got a lot of minions. Like, you're a minion, but you're a fan minion of Floyd.
No.
But
I
Floyd
call
had
him out on his
people
mess.
in the different gyms, and they knew Gotti didn't have it no more.
He
So
would've
when
beat him
Floyd,
at- he
when
would've
put on
Floyd
your
fought him,
resume.
yeah,
would've
when
beat
Floyd
him
fought him,
Floyd would have beat him at
the
any
fan,
point in
we
his
didn't
career.
no,
Stop it.
he was
Stop it.
done.
Any point
Anybody
in his career.
could. You would have probably beat him then.
Any point
and you
in his
looking like
career.
Casey Hampton a little bit right now.
Floyd Mayweather would beat him at any point in his career. There were just
Well,
levels
in
to
your
this.
opinion,
No, that's a
he
fact.
was
Well,
done.
Styles.
He fought him when he
The
was done.
Styles make
Styles
fight.
made
He fought him
fight,
when he was done.
skills pay the bills, and Floyd had more of
He
them.
was done. Like Claudio said, he just didn't have another war in him.
Jack Dempsey. I'm going to start with you on this one.
Extremely underrated. Jack Dempsey was tough. He could have been tough in bare knuckles. He could have been tough today. Anytime, he was just a fighting man. He was like a Tyson Fury, a fighting man.
Luther, I'm going to say
underrated.
I'm going to say a little overrated.
Jack Dempsey.
Just a little bit. Yeah, they make
Jack
it
Dempsey.
Whoa,
just a little
I'm
bit
shocked.
underrated because there was a period he didn't fight for a while, and he was the first athlete who made money off of his brand. He had a
right.
great restaurant, and I think that legacy carried.
What nationality was he?
Oh no.
Jim, does it matter?
I know it, and I know it didn't end in a vowel. I know that, but I just thought, whenever they say the greatest top 5, you'll hear people say Muhammad, you'll hear people say Rocky, you'll hear people say Foreman. Joe Louis. I don't know how many people are saying Jack Dempsey. I just think he's a little bit overrated.
Oh, my.
I said underrated.
He's a legend.
I said underrated.
Thanks,
I think he was a monster. I don't think he gets enough credit that I want to give him.
How about when he
Just a
beat the
monster.
hell out of, was it Jess Willard? Everybody
Oh,
talks
yeah,
about the Marciano
yeah.
punch to Walcott. I don't know. I don't know how many hundreds of fractures.
Yeah.
And he kept getting up. That was the days of Jim, like when you knock a guy down and he was
Yeah,
standing over
yeah,
you. And the guy would get up and he'd just start stroking him.
Yeah,
There was rumor that he had plaster of Paris in his hands,
He was mean enough.
a
He was
tie
mean
in his
enough.
hand. You
He
talk about
was a
gloves
mean
all the time.
dude. He was
But
mean.
and Jess Willard was a big boy,
Yeah,
and he
yeah.
beat the hell out of him. But I'm still going to say just a mythical thing. They try to link him like with Babe Ruth and like a mythical thing. So I think maybe just a little bit. George Foreman. I'll start with you.
Overrated preacher, underrated fighter.
Well, that's what we are talking about.
Oh, I didn't know.
Reverend
He had
Jim.
10 members of his church when he
Reverend
came
Jim.
out of retirement.
Luther.
Very underrated. George Foreman should be mentioned. When you talk about the greatest of all time, I don't think his name comes up enough.
with you.
Listen, George was that dude. So much power. He came back in his 40s and still won a championship. Very underrated, in my opinion.
Underrated. He can be considered one of the greatest fighters of all time, one of the biggest punchers of all time. Definitely underrated. Rocky Marciano. Start with you.
Well, Rocky is where he needs to be. I mean, he's one of the greatest of all time. I don't think he's overrated or underrated. People, when they talk about the greatest of all time, he's in that mix. I think he's right where he needs to be.
All right. And speaking of Rocky, we are going to have the author of his new book, John Cameron, on our show. I had him on my show yesterday. He wrote a 2-volume book on Rocky. First his formative years, then championship years, till unfortunately he passed away. Your thoughts? Underrated, overrated?
Extremely underrated.
I think he was underrated because of his size. he was, really about 5'9", max 5'10". His last fight, he fought at 188 pounds.
Wow.
So they say, well, if he'd have fought Tyson Fury, I think like at Mike Tyson, they would have hit to the body,
destroyed that
busted
body.
some
He
ribs.
don't like
Yeah,
that body.
I think
he
he's
wouldn't beat
underrated.
Tyson Fury.
He would destroy Fury with that body.
Lastly, for this segment, Muhammad Ali, overrated, underrated.
Another guy. He's right where he needs to be. He's the greatest of all time. You can't get any higher. That's where he needs to be. He's perfect. He's the greatest. He's the GOAT. Keep him right where he is. No question, he's the greatest of all time.
I don't like when certain people say, well, he lost to Trevor Burbick, and he lost to
Jim Frazier.
Larry Holmes.
Jim
And
Frazier talks
you
about
cannot
the end
even come
of
close
his
to
career.
that because and I do understand what you're saying with Cassius Clay, Muhammad Ali. Cassius Clay
was great.
Cassius Clay prided himself in
younger in
not
the front.
getting hit.
Yeah.
Muhammad Ali prided himself on the punch he could take. But both different fighters, they fought different styles, and obviously you can argue maybe who the greatest of all time was, but nobody can argue, zero zilch can argue who the most important boxer of all time was, without question. So, I hate to say he's right where he is because he deserves even more than that. But definitely not overrated for damn sure.
Most overrated athlete in the history of sports.
Jim,
Listen,
come
he
on,
fought,
man.
Muhammad Ali kept the title by fighting the bum of the month all the time. Chuck Wepner, Joe
Tough,
Bugner,
Tough.
Jean-Pierre,
Okay, that guy, that guy.
Richard Dunn.
All right.
You know what I mean?
Look at who he did fight.
Leon
Look at all
Spinks.
How many Hall of Famers did he beat?
Alfredo
Couple times.
Evangelista.
Who was tough?
Alfredo Evangelista.
Who was tough?
All these bums.
Jim, that's
Jim,
a
but
trash.
like you
That's
said, you
trash.
can't fight. You can't play Alabama every week. You can't play the Steelers every week or Tampa Bay.
greatest
or,
era
you've
of
gotta
heavyweight
fight.
boxing,
But those guys
and
were
he
tough.
dominated
Bugner
it.
was not a world champ, but Bugner, after you fought him, you knew you fought.
How about Richard Dunn?
Him, I don't know.
They were all
I don't know.
bums.
The
Well,
greatest
we're going to
era
get to the
of
trilogy.
heavyweight boxing, he dominated
Yeah.
it.
We're going to get to the Gaddy trilogy another time. We're running a little bit short, but we got to get to our mailbag, our popular segment. Please continue to send your emails to my show and to the boxing mailbag at yahoo.com. Okay, comments. Let me get my glasses here. Dougie from Canton, Ohio. I watch you guys on Channel Box. Good. Channel Box is a great station. And you guys are terrific. Claudio, I listened to your podcast, and you said the TBA, the Boxing Authority, was entertaining and informative, and you were spot on. Keep it up, guys. Thank you, Dougie. We appreciate it. This is for Jim Randall from New York City. You are an NFL scout. Do you think there should be an upper-tier judge at ringside like the NFL? They have a guy in New York for instant replay to decide if it was a knockdown, long count, or headbutt.
Yes, and it should be me. I like that job. Yeah.
How about you? Do you think there should be a guy?
Rolly had a knockdown. and
Oh,
get credit
stop!
for it.
No. There's enough corruption in judging. We don't need one guy who's getting paid off more than the other. No, keep it the way it is. And in fact, I'd like to see less judges.
All right. Comment. Yeah, this is a comment. Ken from Pittsburgh. My wife asked me one of your shows, which of you like the best? I said, which of us? Okay, I didn't write. I said Luther. She said, why? Because he's making me money. So that's why you're like. So Ken from Pittsburgh. That's the second or third
Is that Kenny
person.
O? Is that Kenny O?
I don't know. This is the second or third person that likes him better because
The
he's making him money.
the prophet.
All right. And we'll get one more in. This is from Andrea from Mount Pleasant, Pennsylvania. Claudio, what is the connection between Bruno Sammartino and Primo Carnera? Bruno loved Primo Carnera, and they didn't box. Primo was a very good, popular wrestler, and they tag teamed. And I believe he was even here in Pittsburgh several times, which if my dad would have known, my dad lost his mind because he loved Primo. But they were a tag team in wrestling, so there's your connection. All right. As always, we hope you enjoy our show as much as we enjoy bringing it to you. Thanks so much for tuning in to the Boxing Authorities.